Hello, hello. It's Technical Tuesdays with Tim, and we're going to do a crypto summit, and we're going to give some. I've got some predictions for you guys. I've got the line in the sand on the charts, but more importantly, the show is about making money. So I'm going to later on timestamp it so that if you're interested in one of the projects we're talking about it, you can go directly to it. Now we're going to talk about some projects that I'm interested in. One of them is XRP. This has been one of the biggest runaway winners in the crypto market, and we're going to give it its due today by breaking down some news stories surrounding XRP into the charts. None of this is scripted or talked about in advance. I don't know what Tim's going to bring to the table regarding the projects I'm talking about. He's going to speak for himself. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. I want to make some predictions for Ethereum because you guys know I've been kind of dogging it a little bit, and I don't regret it. I got no apologies. I tried to jump on the Ethereum train, but you know I felt that Sui and Ondo and some other projects, Phantom, Solana, they just got me to Cash City faster. I was on the Sui bullet train going up 400% when the Ethereum family was like, hey, we're killing it. 10% this week. We're killing it. All right. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Hey, we got to be real. We got to talk about what we're doing. I've had two very successful swing trades on crypto today. I got to be very careful because I don't want to come off, people are doing different things, right? People have different levels of investment. I literally moments before this live closed out two trades right around 8K each. That's 16K for the afternoon. I made some similar bag this morning. I made 100K on Monday. This has been a big week for me. So I'll personally tell you, and I cannot make this more clear to you. One, you do you. Okay, this is not a suggestion for what you should buy, sell, or hold. But I'll tell you that if you're not following me, Mark from Tribal Trades, and stock up with Larry Jones, then you're just not doing justice to your crypto portfolio. Each of us, the three that I just mentioned, have an extremely different approach to crypto. Okay, but what I like about the three, and we're going to add Tim to this, but what I like about the three that I just gave you is that, Larry's doing he's got his own approach to picking cryptos. He brought XRP, really signaled it to me. I had my bags filled, and he's like, and then last week when it was running, he talked about it on his show. I watch his show because I'm a friend and a fan, and I literally sent him a text. I said, hey man, hey bud, I just bought some XRP. I was up $3,000 on that position within a couple hours. Now, XRP has been running, and we're going to get into it in a minute, but let me welcome Tim. Tim, I'm glad that you're here today. Thank you for joining me. How have you been?
Absolutely. Doing great. It's been a roller coaster over at the Bros. A lot of stuff happening. I don't know if everyone's on train, and I've seen some people kind of echo this, but a couple of weeks ago, I predicted the first week of December would really mark alt season. And we can get into alt season, what that means, what the definition of it is here in a little bit, but it's looking like that's right. I can't wait to get into the details, into the charts with you, break down XRP. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on where we go from here.
You'll love it.
I'm posting tomorrow morning. We talked about it on our show today, but tomorrow morning, XRP prediction will be going out on my channel.
Okay.
Which I might tease some details and numbers here for people as well if they didn't watch my live show earlier today. But then, yeah, other coins as well. I'm very bullish. I'm just very bullish on the space as a whole right now. Alt season has a way of just melting people's faces and making a lot of people look smart if you're bullish. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Well, let's first of all, let me just mention who this gentleman is for the new folks that have joined us and haven't seen him on the page over the last month. This is Tim, right? And his channel is Investing Bros, and he covers the overall market and crypto, specifically focused on crypto right now because crypto is hot. So make sure that you guys take a minute and go and subscribe to his page to get additional content. I think I brought him on my page some months back because he's a technical guy, and I like his technicals, and we've had some great conversations doing these lives and correctly predicting what was going to happen in Bitcoin and Ethereum in the coming week. We're going to attempt to do it again today. Tim, let's just start it off. Give people a little bit of an explanation. I have my own view, but I think you would cover it well about what's going on with Bitcoin dominance has been crashing and burning, and it's
Yeah.
given rise to explosive moves in the alts. How would you explain that? And remember that I've got a lot of people that are just starting their journey. I've got personal friends who are not in crypto, not on Wall Street, and they're like, Josh, I'm coming to the show every day now. Where do I begin? Help them understand what's happening right now with these alts and how long is that going to last?
Yeah, very, very good question right there. You can go ahead and share my screen here. We'll break down what the Bitcoin dominance chart is and what this really means for people as they're trading. So this chart, if you guys want to look it up and you're on TradingView, go into this top left corner, type in BTC.D. It's another way of saying Bitcoin dominance. You can do the same thing for Ethereum. You can go ETH .D. You can do Solana, SOL.D. But this is how in TradingView you find the dominance charts. And one of the things that we predicted a long time ago, we were called crazy over at the Investing Bros channel, but way, way back in early 2023, we pinpointed and said, hey, based off of past movements, I believed that the Bitcoin dominance would top out somewhere about 60% dominance. There's a lot of reasons why that goes in, but I want to show you guys the history of the Bitcoin dominance chart. I want to explain what Bitcoin season versus altcoin season is so you have a better understanding. Right now, if you were to go back and you take a look back here in January of 2021, some of you will know that the bull market for 2020 kind of started back, summerish. After we recovered from COVID, we had a nice dip, but we had a nice Bitcoin rally to finish off the Bitcoin season. We peaked up at 73%, but then you're going to see Bitcoin would fall from 73% very quickly back to 60% within a couple of weeks.
Now, Tim, can you explain to them how that correlates to the price of Bitcoin as well?
Yes. Yeah. Well, what I want to do is I want to show them what the Bitcoin dominance chart looks like and the timelines. And then I want to show them the Bitcoin chart and explain the price action. Because you'll see here, first couple of weeks, Bitcoin dominance plummeted from 73, down towards 60%. But after hesitating, it would continue the rest of the bull market all the way until May 2021. It would continue to fall. So these dates are important. Remember, we peaked in January. Okay. We quickly fell into early February, and then we traded sideways, and then starting in March to May had another big fall. This is what we call altcoin season.
I know people get mad at me for interrupting you, but let me just explain something for the people that really need the third grade level. This is not a price chart. This chart does not reflect price. It expresses dominance over all the other altcoins. So it means it's all about money flow, money flowing into Bitcoin versus money flowing into Bitcoin and the alts. That's what the word dominance. This is not a price chart. It's about where's the money flowing. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and even if, make sure people are very clear on this. What this means, for example, like if Bitcoin's at 60% dominance and all of crypto's at $1 trillion, that would give Bitcoin a $600 billion market cap because it's 60% of the whole thing. But anyways, those dates, January, February, March to May. Look at how that whole time Bitcoin dominance fell. Let's go look at the actual Bitcoin chart during that same time period, though. So what you'll see a big rally in October of 2020. I told you it started late summer, September-ish, August area. We had a big rally on Bitcoin that rallied from $10,000 all the way to $41,000. But look where you get a little bit of a pullback here. January. First week of January, we see Bitcoin actually pull back during this time period, roughly 30%. So Bitcoin had a big rally. It came to a close. It pulled back 30%. But in that same timeline on the Bitcoin dominance chart, the Bitcoin dominance fell. And if I were to show you other altcoins skyrocketed. But remember, I said, early February, it kind of paused until March. Look what Bitcoin does in early February. It begins to climb once again. So just because the Bitcoin dominance has peaked and is falling doesn't mean that Bitcoin's rally is over. In fact, Bitcoin would go on to make a big move in March and April. It would have a big pullback, but it would also have a bigger move later in September, October of 2021. Ultimately, what this is communicating is that the timeline for Bitcoin being the best investment in crypto is coming to a close. If I go back over to Bitcoin dominance, during this time period, between, you really could go back to the bear market back of 2018. Between January of 2018 and January of 2021, Bitcoin on average was the best investment in crypto. It was better than Ethereum. It was better than XRP. It was better than Cardano. That's why the dominance climbed from 36% to 72%. Altcoin season is where the flow of what the best investment is goes back into the altcoins for about a year, give or take. A little bit less than a year probably, but close to a year. And you can see the Bitcoin dominance chart falls, but at the same time, Bitcoin is climbing. So what does this mean? Bitcoin might have climbed a little bit, but let's take a look at a coin like Cardano. Look at Cardano's chart if I were to go to January. We had a nice pump in December, but look at January. This is when right in here, Cardano started to really take off in January. Boom, right here, early in January. It did it again here in February, and it didn't slow down until when? Right around that March, May area where Bitcoin even took a little bit of a tumble. This chart is very, very important at telling us when you should be removing some of your Bitcoin profit, not all, but some, into more altcoins to get better returns. And again, early in 2023, we predicted 60% dominance. And I told my community here recently, within the last couple of weeks, what is going to be the target? What is going to be the sign, the evidence that altcoin season would officially be here? You got to be patient, I said, but you have to look at this trend line that had been developing since back in May of 2023. When we lost this trend line, I told my community that would be the official statement that altcoin season was here.
And brother, I believe were you right? Were you right about that? That was when it fired off, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things I tell people all the time. I'm not an I told you so type of person. I don't gloat. Ultimately, I want to see other people succeed as much, if not more, than I do. But sometimes people, they try to invest too much with emotions, Josh, and they try to, just follow whatever their gut feeling is telling them. But sometimes it's really simple and really easy just to back off, study the charts, study the moves, study the trends. And it's really, you can make things 1,000 times easier on yourself to give up your own convictions, to give up your own opinions, to give up your own emotions, and just look at the charts. And right now, we're seeing it play out almost perfectly how we predicted about 2 years ago, give or take. And this is a big, big sign. And this is a big reason why you are watching things like this. Let's go look at a couple other charts that show this. ETH over Bitcoin charts, not popping off yet, but Ethereum showing signs of life. But look at this Ethereum over Bitcoin chart, meaning the average price of an Ethereum compared to the average price of a Bitcoin. It was really high back here, August of 2022. It was up to where, one Ethereum was worth 0.085 Bitcoin. It plummeted here more recently to where one Ethereum was only worth 0.031 Bitcoin, but now we're starting to make moves. You'll see like Cardano, for example, making a big, big bounce here after a long downward slope. XRP, massive candles coming in here after a long downward slope. Solana is one of the few altcoins, honestly, that didn't have too much of a negative reaction to Bitcoin. It's been rallying now for over a year, but we are watching altcoins start to take back dominance away from Bitcoin. And this was the chart that said it all. When we lost this support, that would be the official sign. If there's any question left, this is altcoin season. Altcoins are better investments than Bitcoin. That being said, I don't tell people to sell all of their Bitcoin to go into alts. I say take a percentage of it. If you're looking to make money, you're going to make more money in altcoins now moving forward for at least the next couple of months than you will in Bitcoin. But I still believe in holding at least a portion of Bitcoin just in case something happens that's wrong there. I mean, Bitcoin is the hottest topic, not just in the crypto community, but we're watching institutions with trillions of dollars looking at investing in Bitcoin coming forward. So things could change this cycle. But if everything stays the same 4-year cycle, I'm very much expecting at least between now and March, altcoins are going to run like crazy, and you'll make a lot of money having your investments over there instead of just in Bitcoin.
Perfect. I love the explanation. I think it was very clear for people that were trying to understand whether we were or were not in alt seasons. I agree with Tim 100%. The break of that channel was the moment in time in which these alts just began to explode. And I'm going to First of all, we're going to give different recommendations or conversations or discussions about things that we like, but we're not all going to be in the same financial situation. And that means we are not all going to have the same picks and the same, because we don't have the same goals. Bitcoin for me is the type of thing that right now I question whether I ever want to sell it now, because I have no idea how low it will go. I know that we've yet to make the final peak, and I know that we will have a pivot low. But the fact is that by looking at the past with things like NVIDIA, if in 2013, your mom and your dad had bought you $500 worth of NVIDIA stock rather than a PlayStation for Christmas, which is just around the corner, so some of you parents need to hear this, they could have paid for your college tuition. They could have bought you a Lambo. You would be worth $153,000, what would have been dropped for an expensive Christmas gift, a one-time hit where people just waste their time away. So don't ignore Wall Street. Bitcoin, Michael Saylor believes, I think me and Tim were at the Bitcoin conference. Larry Jones was there. He's here with us today. Hey, Larry, I'm glad you're joining us. Appreciate your presence. So does the family. We heard Michael Saylor say that every Bitcoin is going to be $48 million. Okay, now I don't know. But the fact is, somewhere in your investing strategy, you've got to pick some things that you're just going to hold on to and constantly add to. Now, that's what Michael Saylor's doing. We're going to have to talk about MicroStrategies. Guys, feed this video for me and push the likes up. I want to get to at least 1,000 likes within the first 15 minutes. And then, guys, don't sleep on the Stocks with Josh Discord. I'm giving Crypto Gems channel there for the VIP members. We have a crypto chat channel. Mark from Tribal Trades has got his own channel. Now, if you're trying to grow a small account, Mark's literally been feeding the family 3x and 10x winners all week long. So if you've got $100 and you just want to see what can happen and you're willing to take a little direction from Mark, you 3x it, you 10x it, you 3x it. That's literally what he's been doing over there. I can't participate in some of those plays because some of them, the market cap is smaller than the position size that I would take. So if I went in, it would just mess up everything. And then you guys would all be dumping your bags on me. I got to play in the bigger cryptos. So we're all going to have different goals. But guys, come over. There is something for everybody in the Stocks with Josh Discord. Let's get into XRP. Now, this is going to be where the controversy comes. I have never done myself a favor and shown much love to the XRP army, who have shown me love, because a lot of my family out there love XRP, been holding it while I've been clowning on them. But the day of the dog has finally come, and XRP shed its stablecoin, skin and emerged as a money-making vehicle. How did it happen? What's going on? Now, I'm going to bust everybody's bubble. First of all, I'm in on the journey, right? I'm in on the journey. Wherever the money goes, that's where I want to be. And XRP's running. I'm going to go into the charts and give you guys a very simple technical. We'll get Tim's opinion. So I'm in on the journey, but I want to talk and lay a little bit of a foundation as to why is it running. And I'm just going to tell you off the bat. And Tim, you tell me I'm dead wrong if you want. It's not because of all of the technicals and the things that people are telling you how it's going to be positioned as, as a future currency in the United States. It absolutely will not. It never will be. The Ripple software does not require XRP token at all. It is simply one of the most sophisticated, managed projects out there, and they dumped millions and millions of dollars into OnlyFans endorsement. They're paying the ladies that some people pay to take off their clothes. They're paying them to pump this. And, some of them have huge followings. Now, this is not the only thing, but I have to draw attention. And I don't know this. I have never darkened the door of OnlyFans. I don't have an account. I'm a Christian man, and the Bible says, delight yourself in the wife of your youth. That's what I'm doing. I've been married for 30 years. But I've been hearing this talked about that they're pulling all the stops, and they're pumping this thing at the right moment. They knew the same thing that Tim and I are bringing you to today. They knew when the altcoin season started. And so they went on a full blitz campaign to drive this thing up to where it's going to go. Having said that, If you look past why it's pumping, you recognize it's not going to be the one crypto to rule them all. Okay. SUI is pumping because it's a threat to Solana. Solana was dominant over Bitcoin and Ethereum because it's a threat to them. Okay. And it didn't do it for one day or 2 days or at the beginning of altcoin season. It's done it the entire crypto cycle that we're in. Now, if you want to be involved in something that is a technological, future technology, innovative company with very strong leadership that's trying to solve technology problems and win the blockchain war, then you've got to look at Solana and SUI and Ethereum and Bitcoin. You've got to look at those. XRP, pumping because these are the craft technicians of pump. But the fact is that with this level of attention and buzz, this thing can double and triple from here. All bets are off. The technicals, to a degree, have to be ignored. It's breaking the charts. It's a perfect storm for this to go higher, but let's take a minute and look at the technicals anyways. I'm going to tell you guys where this thing should go based on what it's done so far. Let me take you into the chart and show that to you guys. You can, by all means, Tim, while I'm getting that geared up, give your commentary. Matter of fact, let me stay on your face and I'll be getting my chart ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think when it comes to XRP, people
they lose
love
their damn minds.
They love to try to. Okay, I said this earlier. Don't trade with your emotions. XRP got very boring. It got very monotonous. It got very suppressed. And people thought that just because they saw something happening in a certain timeline, that they knew what the future looked like. And I warned people that there would be a day that XRP out of nowhere would take off like a bottle rocket, that it would become the hottest crypto talked about for at least a couple of days, if not multiple weeks. I don't know if I predicted that it would get up above the highs of 2021 this fast, but I told my community, do not sleep on or try to think that you're a smart person. It was a popular opinion to be anti-XRP, not so popular today. And that's something that I knew was going to happen because this was a coin that has been suppressed since 2021. I can't wait to see your charts, to see what you say. I got some history I want to show people that you really have to go back to like 2017 to truly appreciate what XRP is capable of. You can't really go back to 2021, and I'll explain why here in just a little bit. But this XRP move, the only part of it that's shocking to me is just how high it's actually gotten. It caused me, I told you guys, tomorrow morning on my channel, you'll see an XRP price prediction. It caused me to be even more bullish than I was when I made a video about it about 2 months ago or so. XRP, it's not done. In my opinion, it's not done. It might have a pullback coming soon, but I think we go a lot higher from here, and I'll explain why here in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, well, so my perspective on where this can go is going to be just based on old school technicals, and it's going to shock people. And we got it, but this is very realistic. So let me pull this up. All right, let's go into the chart here. Okay, so, really, we've got this giant, I think, sort of a cup and handle, right? Now, it's not playing out. But really, if you want to look at it, I'm not going to call this a cup and handle. But when you break a previous high like this, okay, you do one simple thing. You simply go to the point at which it returned. You go to the middle of the low, which we had. You take it to the top, right? And this becomes the expected move. As long as we don't lose this 198. Now, first of all, I called and ran this bad boy up with Larry Jones, got a big piece of it. Did I get all of it? No, I got 2 chunks of it at a time. I got plenty of it. And I made inordinate amounts of money not sitting on my money when this was in its stable coin years. So I have no regrets. Now I'm in this now because of what this is saying. Guys, this is basically telling us that this thing could go to $13. Now, I know that sounds crazy. It's telling you that this party is just beginning. And this is, this is already, in my opinion, this weekly candle, it's going to close. It confirms this move. And the move right now is the $13. And so if you've got a single crypto, I've got cryptos that I'm looking to get 100% on, or 200%. But I don't have, this is a nice move. So this is definitely one that's on the top of the list. And so I'm definitely saying that for as long as this party is going to run, then you want to be in it. But let me just come back and make this commentary, and then we're going to get Tim's point of view. So what I want you guys to be aware of is the faster they run up, the quicker they'll reverse. And I can tell you that I'm going to run this up and babysit it with my stop loss regularly, nightly, for the next weeks and months here while we're in the crypto cycle. I'm going to be steadily on it, trying to get as much money out of it as I can, right? But then we're going to get up to $10, possibly $10 to $13. And it's going to be the most monumental blow-off candle top with a red wick shooting to the heavens. And people are just going to be left bag holding, because when I'm dumping my bags on them, and whoever paid for this run-up, okay, and people might disagree with me, but whoever paid for this run-up, when it gets to where they expect it to go, they're going to sell, right? They got to pay them OnlyFans girls one way or the other, right? They're going to sell, and you're going to be hearing people say it's going to $20, $50, $100, $500, and I'm going to be literally putting the honeys down at the bank, and going figuring out what I want to do from there. Take it away, Tim. What's your opinion? You got it.
No, I hadn't done the analysis the way that you had just done it. My targets I put out there today were eerily similar to that $13. I have one about this time next year, should be a little lower than that. But if we extend into 2026, which we could, it actually goes a little bit higher. But you're absolutely right. There are people right now, there's that kind of meme out there saying that XRP is going to go to like 400, and I can't remember what the exact number is, but it's over $400. And it's like, you guys don't realize how many trillions of dollars in market cap we would have to have for XRP to go that high. It's not going up there. There's people who I would call more realistic XRP maxis who are calling for like $30. That's not going to happen. I mean, for that to happen, we'd be talking about somewhere just above or right around $2 trillion in a market cap for just XRP.
Tim, right? Michael Saylor would just have to fall in love with XRP and leave Michael his steady Bitcoin gal.
Michael Saylor or Elon Musk would have to fall in love with XRP, and then maybe $30 happens this cycle. I like what you said, 13. My two ranges was like $9 and I think like 40 cents or something, with a $550 billion market cap about this time next year. That would put it at about a 5% dominance of the entire crypto market. Very reasonable, very good expectation. That's about the normal level for a chart that's around the number 4 place. That being said, I want to show people here on the charts a couple of things that we're keeping an eye on right now.
All right, let me pull your charts up.
So a lot of coins, whenever I'm doing analysis, you'll see me compare what the market could look like compared to what the 2020, 2021 bull market could have looked like. And XRP is going to be one of the ones you cannot do that. And the reason why is because not only did you have the March COVID dip that sent us down to the lows of that bear market, look at this nasty candle right in here in December of 2020. This was because of the SEC lawsuit. Has anyone ever heard of that? It was something that trickled into the rest of the crypto space. Gary Gensler and his goons over the SEC, who are now on their way out, packing the bags. We're talking about his replacement even today in the news. They used the entire 2020, 2021 bull market to really suppress, manipulate, and diminish the chances that XRP had to be explosive. So the reality is, what I want to go back and look at to tell you how explosive XRP could be is going all the way back to 2017. And what we're kind of looking at right now, I believe right now we're in the world of this candle right in here. I think we're about to experience some form of a pullback, some sort of, and this one is actually, it's a pretty decent sized pullback. I don't know if we're going to match this percentage exactly, but XRP, after starting a nice little rally, had a 63% pullback. I think that's a little much. I could see 40, maybe 50% pullback from where we currently are, but that's going to be about it.
Can I throw out an idea to you, Tim? Can I throw it out to you? So we're at right now around $3, right? If it pulled back to $1.98, that would be a 31% pullback, which would be relatively reasonable before the next leg up.
Very reasonable. Very reasonable. And I don't know the exact percentages going to happen, but I wanted to kind of echo to people what this looked like. Let's just kind of look at this movement. You have a symmetrical triangle of suppression, right? Here that happens between July 14th and the explosion that starts in March 17. You have an initial run up, a casual pullback. Again, this one was 60%, but this time it's going to be more like 30, 40%. Then you have another leg of explosive move to the upside, followed by months of consolidation in another symmetrical triangle pattern. And then you finally have your last big move that, like you said earlier, blow off top. I'm on board with you that this cycle, crypto is going to have another blow off top. I do not think that we're going to see another, like if I were to go to Bitcoin, I don't think we're going to see another bull market top that's really more of a rounding. What is the word for it? It's not consolidation, but not accumulation, but distribution, right? So we really had more of a distribution type top, both bull runs in 2021. But if you look, this is the Bitcoin chart. Historically, bull markets end with blow off tops, right? If I were to go back to a longer time frame, bull market top of 2018, 2017, blow off top. Bull market top of November 2013, blow off top. Bull market top of April 13, blow off top. June 11th, blow off top. I think we're going to return to blow off tops. But when I go back to XRP, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I believe we are somewhere right about here on XRP. I think this coin is going to maintain somewhere around the 3 to 4 rankings. I think there's a little bit of what you could call a vengeance rally at the moment because, again, all the suppression that happened between December of 2020 to literally just a couple of weeks ago here in early November, the revenge rally has come. And you know what's crazy, Josh? I don't think that new people are investing in XRP. I'm not saying no new person, but I think this whole rally is the XRP community that was frustrated, fed up, and discouraged by all of this price action. And now they're seeing it move, and they're saying, finally, my coin that I had believed in for years, it's moving. And I think this is just getting going. I'll go ahead and tell you my predictions.
All right,
just
I appreciate
so you guys
that.
have them.
He's giving us the good stuff, guys.
Watch my video in the morning for the details, but there's a very real chance March or April of 2025, we're sitting closer to 524. That's when I think we'll have potentially a bigger pullback, maybe that 30%, 40% pullback. By October of 2025, I have us here around 940, 950. And then if we extend into 2026, which I think there's a very real chance with institutional adoption, we would, and XRP is an institutional coin, banker coin, if you guys want to know what that is, 1680. 1680 is a target that I'm watching for a potential top of this bull market. That would be a $1 trillion market cap, which is crazy, but I do think that can happen. I think Bitcoin could be sitting closer towards a $5 trillion market cap, Ethereum sitting closer toward a $1.5 to $2 trillion market cap, and XRP and Solana are going to be wrestling for that number 3 spot. I think both of them have a case at being at or around $1 trillion market cap by the time this bull market.
Well, let's entertain. Let's be nice to XRP for a moment and entertain something here. What really this comes down to is this going to be a vehicle? The fact is cryptos are either dead or they're alive, right? They're either dead money or they're living, right? And this boost of revenue that the developers and the leaders and the team and those who are pushing this project forward are really going to get rich off of this pump. And that's going to give a fresh breath of life to XRP. And so I will have to say that what they do with it moving forward could change. It could, as you said a moment ago, become a threat. It could become a mover simply because, you know the old saying, follow the money. And right now, the money's flowing into XRP. And so you've got to respect it. Doge was created as a joke, and it's a legitimate legitimate enterprise today and one of the top 10 cryptos from each cycle. And it was created simply by a joke. XRP obviously is not a joke. It's not a meme coin. It's not a stable coin. Now everybody behind it's rich. And the fact is, we got to keep an eye on it now. And I have no loyalty towards these projects. I'm just following the money. And that's why we're talking about XRP today. We've got to get some other subjects in. Okay. And then I want to take some recommendations from you guys. I want to take a couple of your picks to chart. But let's talk, right? Let's talk. We talked about Bitcoin dominance. I want to briefly show them the chart. Tim, give them 30 seconds on the Bitcoin chart as well. Your opinion as to where we're at, where are we going, what's the upside potential, downside potential. Got to get Ethereum in, and then we're going to get some people's picks out there. So let me just jump into my chart real quick. Actually, go ahead and you can talk while I'm getting my chart ready.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll take a look here in a little bit. There's still a very real chance that Bitcoin during this alt season is not ready to start its second rally again. I mean, we fell $140 short of 100K. People front ran that number there. 100K was that big psychological level. But if this is truly alt season, which again, there's a lot of signs it is. Historically, Bitcoin's fallen 30% at the beginning of alt season before it resumes its rally. This is a more mature market. I've pegged more of like a 15 to 20% pullback. So realistically, we're looking at about $85,000 to $80,000 of it'll come back to that level before it resumes its bull market. And there's a lot of things on the charts. I know we'll look at Josh's first, and then we can look at mine as well and look at what LUXALGO is saying. There's a lot of reasons why 80,000 is a major target to watch for a Bitcoin buy before we resume.
And when I'm done going through those things with you guys, I'm gonna just touch on my profoundly. Now, I'm not the most successful trader. I'm sure there's people out there making $200,000-$300,000 a day, but I'm having some really big days, and so I'm coming up as a pretty darn good crypto trader. But I'm going to share with you one of the tools that I use, and I use it every single time. I'm not trading without of it. It's been so helpful for me to make money. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Some of you already know, but I'm going to show it to you here in a little bit. Let's go look at that Bitcoin chart. Okay, let's, so guys, I actually shot a video right before doing this live that I will post this evening. And I did talk a little bit about Bitcoin. I also talked about a big pick, a stock pick for 2025 and 2026, one that I'm loading the boat up on now. But let's talk about Bitcoin. So this candle, whoo, I had this channel drawn, guys, this morning, and Bitcoin wasn't down here. So let's put on the hourly chart, okay? So this morning when I drew this channel, it was not down. We were falling right here. So I had my channel drawn and I bought up the dip, right? And it scared me to buy the dip, but I bought it. I made a ton of money. Why did it scare me? Well, because we didn't hit the bottom of my channel, right? It was a little bit of a fake out, but we did hit my support line. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a chance, even though Bitcoin could come down a little bit more. I'm going to take a chance that my technical line is good. I bought up, everything came back up with it. And lo and behold, in the channel that I drew, we came to the top, got rejected. Came back to it, got rejected, but I liked it. Now, this could have been considered a tweezer top by me, but it wasn't exactly flat. It did concern me, but I just stayed in there with the day, saw this consolidation. Then we've got this beautiful candle here, a hammer candle. And then we got this candle above my channel. So these two candles here on the hourly chart were above my 9,600. They were above my channel. And then when we pull all that out, guys, let me just quickly clean this up and I'll show you what we get then. We're going to go from the 1 hour time frame to the daily. We got this incredible, beautiful hammer candle down on a key level of support. So this excites me because it's Tuesday and I take my largest thought out positions Wednesday because really the money seems to be flowing for crypto on the weekend. Everybody's done trading their stocks. They're trying to make money. And that's when this thing could take off. So I'm just going to keep it simple. We got to stay above 9,600. If we stay above 9,600, I'm smiling like the hard eye guy here. If we fall back beneath, then you've got to take a more defensive posture. You go a little risk off. You got to acknowledge that we're not where we need to be. But if we can stay Wednesday above 96,000, then it is game on, at least to this 97,800. That'll be our next area where we have been rejected multiple times, and we'll have to see if we can get above. But right now, things are looking really nice. Tim, what are your thoughts?
If I don't, I'll mute myself. Yeah, so there's a couple things that I'm watching. If you share my screen, reasons why I'm looking at lower levels here, and I think you absolutely could see a little pop up. In fact, when you're looking at that 1 hour chart, you do see right now there's a buy signal short term on the 1 hour. We're rejecting at the smart trail, which is a major level of resistance. But if we can pop through, we could make a move back up here towards 97.5 almost into the take profit area. But this is what concerns me when I zoom out here and I'm looking at this is for a couple of weeks, a month now, and really, especially since early November when we found out that we're going to have Donald Trump as the next president. People feel very good about the economy moving forward. They feel good about crypto. We exploded with Bitcoin setting higher highs and higher lows. That really goes back here to September. Higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. We hit a major psychological level of $100,000. Again, this is a level we've been talking about since 2020 that we thought we were going to hit in 2021. I knew that there was going to be some form of a resistance at this spot. I just wasn't 100% certain what it would look like moving right after. Well, this kind of confirmed it to me. We dropped roughly 10%, a little bit less, like 9.8%, down here towards $90,000, and then popped back up. And this sparked positivity, right? But I'm looking at this right here and saying, man, for the first time since September, we just set a lower high.
Yeah.
Right. This rounding off that we've seen right here, that's a lower high that we've just seen. And small time frames might say, hey, we can pop up, play with these levels. But these macro time frames are saying, no, we keep running into resistance and hitting the bears selling off. And this time it didn't even take as high of a push to get the bears to come back in to sell off. At LUXALGO, my favorite trading strategy is what I call the trifecta on the LUXALGO oscillator. It's where you get a reversal signal, either one of these dots or one of these triangles. It's where you get a gray dot on the oscillator itself, which communicates bearish momentum. And then this colored indicator is the money flow. And we're still green in money flow, but the money flow is heading downwards. And so when I see three bearish indicators come into confluence, reversal, bearish momentum, and negative money flow, that to me is I found this to be a 90% trade opportunity, meaning when you sell on this, you have a 90% chance of your target being hit. That target is the smart trail on the daily chart. Where's that smart trail coming in at? The high end is up here at 89,000, right? So that's not as bad, but the low end is down here towards 86.5, and this is actually starting to round over. So this is a category that I'm watching right now, but it's not just the daily chart. And I noticed, I'm going to take a little bit of time here.
Now, real quick. What was your low? What was your low that you just said? Was that 89?
The high was 89. The low was closer to 86.
Okay, go ahead, sir. I'm listening.
Yeah. So I want to go back to where we were last bull market, right? So last bull market, when altcoin season happened, like I said, Bitcoin would drop 30%. But notice it didn't just bounce back with the daily smart trail. We actually went down through the smart trail temporarily, and then we resumed the bull market. The level that we watched, that we defended the smart trail, is when we got a sell signal on the 2-day chart. Let me find where I am because I just updated it. There we go. On the 2 daily chart, this is the one that we got a sell signal at the top of this bull market, at the top of this, Bitcoin rally. Alt season happened. We had a sell signal on LUXALGO, and we pull back to the 2 daily chart smart trail. We defend it. We have support. The bull market continues, right? Well, I showed you the daily chart sell signal to where we are now, but we're also seeing the same thing happen here on the daily. Look at the RSI, bearish divergence. Look at the MACD, about to cross bearish for the first time in quite a while. And then you zoom into the LUXALGO oscillator, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. Guess where the smart trail is? Again, this trading strategy works 90% of the time. Low end, $80,000, high end, $84,248. And historically on this part of the cycle, of the altcoin cycle, Bitcoin will pull back to its 2 daily smart trail. That would give us that 15 to 20% pullback. That's also going to be, I think, the proper amount of correction we need here. We see heavy liquidity on this level as well. In this range, if you were to go towards the 12-hour chart, there's actually some heavy liquidity down at 75, but some heavy liquidations sitting right in here at about $85,000. That means that there's a lot of longs that if we were to trade down to this level, let me turn some of this other stuff off. Let me get rid of this blue line just so you can see it more clearly. There's a lot of money of long positions that if we come down this far, we can trap out some bulls, make them lose their trades, and then resume this rally once again. Liquidation levels are something that traders, especially, quick in and out traders, really look heavily at to see how can I steal money from other people? How can I get other people out of a position so that I can take all the gains? They target these liquidation levels. And so I really can think of like 5 arguments as to why Bitcoin really needs to pull back down here towards $80,000, and then it can resume its rally. If Michael Saylor's right, Michael Saylor said something today, you can go off my screen now, but I think is absolutely very, very intriguing. He said on CNBC, or he said this maybe yesterday, he said there's a very real chance that Bitcoin ends up popping up to about $180,000. He didn't give a timetable, but the way he was speaking, I think his timeline is by March or April. Then we see a drop down. He called it a crash to 140 that makes everyone believe that the bull market's over, only for it to continue up once again. This is something that if you look at the Bitcoin cycles, we see altcoin season start, and that confuses people a bit about Bitcoin. Then a couple of months later, we have a top that confused people again. It happened last May. It happened in June of 2017. People will think the bull market's over. It'll come back down, and then, boom, we get another big, big run to the upside for the next couple of months. That, I think, is the strategy of Bitcoin making its way over 200K. I know, Josh, you had targeted. We've had that conversation before.
Yeah. Okay.
The golden pocket is up there at 180.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you can explain it, but yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back. You've intrigued me. I want to respond to your segment. Boo, boo. Everything's going up. Nothing's going down. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I actually loved Tim's view, and I would caution everybody to take serious consideration with what he just laid out. We've done this show only to be coming back later, and exactly what was talked about is happening. Now, he approached it from a different perspective. I told you that we had to stay above a specific number, right? And he presented it, which I believe was 90. What's my number? Let me go back here. Yeah, our number is 96,000. So we got to go into Wednesday above 96, and we have to maintain it. Or I cautioned you we're in trouble. Now, I see a lot of people. I know y'all are buying, no stop loss, diamond hands forever. But I'm just going to tell you that that's not the game I play. And if you're following me and you want to be a consistent winner on Wall Street, you want to turn it into your ATM, not the back alley where you get mugged, you've got to use a stop loss. So let me go in and give you my version of what Tim just said, a little bit more of a cautionary view of other things I see in the chart. And then I want to respond to the last thing he said, which is that I've predicted the exact same thing that Michael Saylor predicted just here the other day. I predicted that months and months ago, and I'll show that to you as well. I'm going to do both, guys. I always have a plan when I do these shows, but they get dynamic, and then we start, needing to talk about things. Let's go look at my chart one more time. 2 more things we're going to show you over here. Okay, so let's just talk about it, right? So now it's not a perfect head and shoulders pattern, but I want you guys to see it the way I see it. I'm just going to boost this up so you guys can see the colors nice and rich. Okay, but there is a type of pattern here where we had a peak of momentum, and don't view it so much as a head and shoulders and view it more as momentum, because that's really the story that head and shoulders tell. They talk about waves of momentum. So this was the first wave, and they got a rejection, right? And then it got another wave, and then it got a rejection. Then it got a lesser, weaker wave. That was your early signal that you had a problem. Now, that's where, look at how this all lines up, guys. I tell you, it's almost like somebody's been charting this thing. Where do you think I come up with the 94,500? Okay. I had this before this wicked down to it, but it aligns with this Head and Shoulders. It aligns with the 20 EMA. That's the red 20 EMA. If you understand EMAs, they're the last line of the offense. I didn't say defense. They're the last line of an offensive move. So if you open and close beneath it, you're no longer on offense. On top of breaking the 20, if we broke this 94,500, we would actually confirm this bearish Head and Shoulders pattern. Well, what do you do from there? You take the top of the head to the neckline, and then you simply copy that down where it breaks. Let's say it breaks right here, and that gives us 84,700. Isn't it amazing, Tim, when you and I chart, we do it entirely different, but we can find the same answers? I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things in technical analysis that there's so much confluence out there that if you really look for it, I never settle for the first time I find something. I always try to say, give me at least 3 reasons why this price level is an amazing level of support or an amazing level of resistance. And it doesn't mean that you always get those, but doing shows with you, it always comes back and helps me confirm, my suspicions, the things that I'm looking at, because those levels, not everyone's going to buy and sell at the same levels. The whole point of technical analysis is buying when the majority of the rest of the people are buying, and selling when the majority of the rest of the people are selling. Or not even the majority of the people, but the majority of the volume is selling or buying.
Okay.
And doing all these dynamic technical analysis workings and different indicators, you really start to find your confluence where it's like you're going to find a handful of traders trading the Head and Shoulders pattern. You're going to find a handful of traders trading the smart trail. You're going to find a grouping of just bears as a whole. When we see the confluence of several indicators come together, you find yourselves with extremely solid levels of either support or resistance. In this case, we're talking about moving down towards a very concise level of support there, just beneath $85,000.
Thank you, Tim, for outlining that. I'm going to try to cover. We've got to get the video's running long, which I'm having fun. Let me know if you guys are having fun and if you're valuing this content that we're bringing. Just throw a thumbs up or in the chat, or a heart. Throw a heart in the chat for Tim and I. Let us know that this is good stuff. I want to show you what Tim said a moment ago about Michael Saylor's prediction of price action. Because this is something I predicted months ago, and I think it's very, very possible. And before I show you this chart, I want to let you know that we're now getting, these option contracts on these Bitcoin ETFs, and there's a massive millions that are buying contracts for Bitcoin hitting 200,000. Okay. And so that is an interesting story. You can't go entirely by that, but people are putting some long-term bets on Bitcoin having its big move. So let me just take you guys into the Bitcoin index chart. This is the historical all-time chart for Bitcoin. And I'm just going to keep it simple, guys. So freaking simple, right? These are the 4 cycles. There's some cycles that had 2 peaks in them early on before this, but we're going to look at these 4 cycles, right? The dotted line is the halving event. It explodes after the halving event. Notice these simple colors, red, blue, and yellow. Okay, so the red represents the previous high. It's marked right here. When it crossed the red, that's when it made a move all the way to the next fib level, and it got rejected, right? It consolidated. Eventually, it crossed. It opened a candle above the next fib level, and we got all the way to the top of the next. Okay, this is the pattern you're going to see on all of these. The white dotted line represents the halving event. That's when blast off occurs. The red represents the previous high. Look at it right there. There's the previous high. This was the candle that crossed the previous high. This was the candle that opened and closed above the previous high. We're looking at the monthly candles. Each candle represents a month in the market. This candle confirmed that we were going to get right here, okay? Then we crossed, right? We crossed with this candle. We opened and closed above. That confirmed that we were going to get there, okay? The same pattern, guys. Nothing has changed. Now something did change, okay? But the red still represents the previous all-time high. Right there, that's the high. Then last cycle, 2021, this candle pushed through. This candle opened up on top of and closed above. That confirmed the move to the next fib level. But now the story slightly changes. Let's pay close attention. We got rejection. We got a candle that pushed through but never opened and closed above. We got a candle that pushed through, never opened and closed above. And then we ran out of time, and this thing never made it past the blue level. It stopped at the blue level. Okay. Then we went into winter, right? Now let's take a look at where we're at and the good news that we have. The amazing, awesome momentum that Bitcoin has. The red line, remember, it represents the previous all-time high, reflected right there. Now, we finally got this candle to push above after consolidating for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months from March peak, right before the halving. We consolidated. Not one time in those 7 months did a candle open and close above the red. Never did until today. This candle pushed through it. This candle has opened and closed above it. I'm telling y'all that this confirms, apart from a black swan event or some news macro event causing a crush, in my opinion, it confirms that we're going to 171,000. Now, Tim mentioned that Michael Saylor called out 180. And you know what? I would agree with him. Why? Because look at what happens in previous cycles. You always push past the fib level. You got to fail somewhere. You got to fail somewhere. You don't just hit that level. You get a little past it, right? Each of these, it pushed a little past it. Okay, so let's go up here. We're going to push past 171 and probably hit as high as 180. And then we're going to come back in the channel, open and close a candle. And that tells us the whole thing is over. And Michael Saylor's saying that we would fall back to 140, which would really be, be about halfway through the channel, possibly make another go at it. But hopefully that makes sense, guys. What it tells you, what you're meant to walk away with is this. From a technical standpoint, Bitcoin's done exactly what it has in the past. Every single time, and we've confirmed a move to 177. And if that happens, I just want to make this clear. One, I'm already, I want to be careful about things I say about money. Okay. There's going to be so much money to be made between now and June. That's also my prediction. The top will be booked between now and June. Okay. So you guys mark that prediction. So some people will tell you it's going to come later. That's going to mess up some of you guys because you're going to not realize that the top is in. Michael Saylor, I'm going to have sold everything I had when it hits 180, right? And then Michael Saylor is going to tell you, don't worry, keep buying at 140, but the top was in. And they're going to say, well, it's going to peak again later here in December. But just remember, I think the top's in. Now, I will reassess. And what will have to show me to be able to change my view? Just some of the same things I just showed you over the last 10 years. If a candle opens and closes above 177, well, then we've got a new price prediction. But unless that happens, I got to go with the charts the way that I read the charts, the way I make money. And I think we're going to get there by June. And here's the big news. This is going to cause such a rip, and XRP kind of tells us that. This is hold on to your seats, okay? If Bitcoin really gets to 177,000, this is going to cause such a rip your face off rally for the alts. Chainlink, $80. ADA back above 3. Who would have ever thought that could happen? Really, nothing can be underestimated. But having said all that, I want you guys to know that buy and hold strategies, the retail people are going to be, they don't even know how to find the stop loss on their Coinbase account. You go into the settings, you go to advanced, and then you can actually put a stop loss in. You've got to think through what your goal is, how much money are you planning to make? I have exact figures in my mind. I know exact figures. I knew them in the winter. And I've recalculated based on the success that I'm having. So I already know what I want to see to the dollar in my account when this is all said and done. And and you got to walk away at some point. So I don't know. It's a lot. I'm going to give you Ethereum like I promised. But Tim, would you respond to that?
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff there. I tell everybody, make predictions, make these expectations and think about it, but always be ready to adjust your prediction. In fact, anyone who thinks that they need to make a prediction and stick to it no matter what, that's just foolish. Always update your predictions. Always update based off of new information that's coming out. That being said, I mean, I see things a little differently than you do. I think that I think this is an extended cycle. I think that 2021 was a suppressive cycle. So institutions in 2021 fought against Bitcoin and crypto, but they're joining it this time. And I don't want to say, because I love what you said about like what normally has happened is that people get so bullish and they think things are going to go keep going on and on and on, and then all the institutions sell out, they leave, and people are left with the bag, and then everything goes down. That's the story of 2021. People were convinced that Bitcoin was going to keep going up to 100,000. People were convinced that things were going to keep going, and then by the time you realized the bull market was over, it was way too late. But all that happened in a time period where, between 09, I don't know if I've said this on your channel before, between 09 and 2013, nobody knew what Bitcoin was. Like that first 4-year cycle, only extreme computer wizards knew what Bitcoin was. Between 2013 to 2017, culture began to catch up. People were making money. Millionaires were being made. You started to see it being made fun of on TV shows. People would joke on TV shows, "Oh, I'm going to go put all my net worth into Bitcoin." Ha, 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 ha. But then between 2017 and 2021, Bitcoin became real, and the haters came out, and those haters had a lot of money. You have the Gary Genslers, you have the governments, the Chinese government, the Russian government, even the American government actively worked against Bitcoin. A lot of people who saw the writing on the wall, banks, Wall Street, they saw that crypto was coming for their camps. They worked very hard to go against Bitcoin, to suppress it, and crypto to go suppress it. There's this saying that at first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then they fight you. And that displays those first first 3 cycles of 4 years perfectly. They ignored it, then they laughed at it, and then they fought it. But you know what comes after they fought it? Then they join you. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to be living with what I call 2021 trauma, meaning they were expecting higher prices, and so they're convinced that this next cycle has to do the same thing that happened back in 2021. But if we're really being honest, and you know this, we were at the Bitcoin conference together, the stress to get a hold of Bitcoin is very, very hard. We have over 60 million millionaires in the world, but there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. So not even every millionaire can own one. And you have your people like Michael Saylor, who's buying up hundreds of thousands. You have BlackRock buying up hundreds of thousands.
And maybe, Tim, maybe the United States might begin a journey of buying.
Exactly. And so where I'm leaning at the moment, whereas some people are saying get out early because you don't want to be left held with the bag, I think there's very wealthy individuals who are sitting here saying, do you know how hard it is to get a hold of one Bitcoin? We've got to find some way to convince some of these retail holders, these diamond hand holders who refuse to sell and haven't sold for a long time. We've got to convince them to sell. And I think they'll use the fear of 2021 to say, get out before it's too late, to convince people to sell and part with their Bitcoin so that the institutions can gobble up more supply and keep going. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying everyone should hold their Bitcoin no matter what, I have some Bitcoin I'm not going to sell for the next 30, 40 years. Like I almost look at that as my retirement, the stuff I want to pass to my kids. I'm not saying don't take profit this bull market in March or in June or in October or whatever. What I'm saying is be aware that there's a very real chance that this market gets extended and keeps going higher. So leave something for just in case, but have a plan. I mean, that's the biggest thing. If you don't have a plan, if you failed to plan, you are planning to fail. Why are you building wealth? Why are you stacking Satoshis? Why are you investing in crypto? You want to buy a house? Do you want to send your kids to college? Do you want to, what is your thoughts? Come up with goals. Make those financial goals, and then when you hit those goals, be okay with taking profit well short of the top of the bull market. At the end of the day, I want to see crypto go sky high, but crypto is only useful to me in the sense that it helps me accomplish what I feel like God's given me to accomplish, to take care of my family, to take care of the people around me, and to leave this world, as terrible as it is, in a better place than I found it, as best as I can. I don't need to become a billionaire to do that. I don't need to buy every bottom and sell every top. I need to be wise with my finances, to handle these markets and handle the gifts that God's given me as best I can, to help serve him as best I can. And that means, hey, I'm not going to sell the top perfectly, but I'm going to prepare myself at several different levels to say, hey, I have a goal to buy my family a house. When I get to a certain point in my portfolio, I'm going to buy a house. I have a plan to try to help different charities and ministries that I'm working with. When I get to a certain level, I want to take profit from my crypto and take it for them. But I'm not going to go 100% out of crypto market, because this is a game that Michael Saylor understands very, very, very well. And his game is, I don't care if the price is high. I don't care if the price is low. Everyone else keeps talking about the highs in Bitcoins being in the thousands. I'm thinking about when Bitcoin's worth millions, plural. And at that case, whether you're buying at a 90K or 180K or 350K, that is all very low compared to a $5 million Bitcoin, $13 million Bitcoin, which I believe is a very realistic target for the next 20, 30 years.
I appreciate everything you laid out. And it's one of the reasons why we partner in this journey. I get, I know so do you, I get tons of requests, all sorts of requests, but I've been very selective. I only bring people on the page that I believe are trustworthy. And that's why Tim's here. And I respect what you're laying down, your personal goals. And I think everybody would do well for them to consider what their personal goals. I want to remind you guys, if you want more Tim, you can find him over at Trading Bros. Tim and T Shroom over there doing their thing daily. So I promised everybody Ethereum. I was asked, what are my top coins right now? What was my favorite legacy coin? To be honest, my favorite legacy coin is Dogecoin. I like Dogecoin the way I like Bitcoin. Dogecoin is the king of the memes, and it always will be. Shiba Inu did not take its spot, and it never will. So there you go, Shib Army. I'm always throwing fists with the different armies out there. But here's my top 3 coins that I made money on today. It's not that these are the very best coins, but you start spending time with these charts. These are good coins. Ondo, Cake, and Phantom. These were they paid me today. They paid me nicely. We're gonna go and celebrate this evening, my wife and I, to a nice Korean barbecue spot here on Waikiki. But those are my top 3 right now that I'm actively trading. I think Cake goes to $5.40. Possibly 10 if we get that big move on Bitcoin. I think Ondo's party is started, and a minimum target is 3. I just like to keep close targets in mind. I don't like to get crazy. I'm going to be trading these. Ondo to 3, Cake, which is Pancake Swap, to 540, and Phantom. Phantom, I also kind of believe, when I look at let's take a big step back, and then you got to finish the show with Ethereum, my man. So consider what prediction you want to give there. But when you take a step back, there's a lot of tools that come together to chart and to trade. A lot of disciplines, tools, and ideas. It's not just a one-trick pony. But one of the dynamics is to understand price points, okay, and how they work. You basically tackle the dollar 1 quarter at a time. 25 cents is a natural resistance. 50 cents is a natural resistance. But if you get some price action above 50, you got to know you're going to run up to 75 cents. If you get above 75 cents, count it done. You'll get in a pullback. You'll get a little accumulation around 60, but count it. The next time you get over 75 cents, you're going to $1. I traded Ondo that way. I traded Phantom. I'm trading Phantom that way right now. And let's trade Bitcoin that way, because the truth is there's a psychological resistance at 100K, and there was at 10,000 K as well. And it did the same thing under 10,000 K. It did the same thing under $1. And so I think we will break over 100K, just like we broke over 10K. We could get the pullback that Tim's talking about. So be careful if you don't have any liquidity. You're going to hate it when you can't buy these coins if they go on sale. If Ondo, let's take Sui, for example, had been down around 312, right? And then it's, flying again today. And if you had just been holding, then you're just going up and down with it. But if you used a stop loss and you're actively trading these, then you could get a much better price, and then you're back up, your portfolio's higher when it makes the move back up. That's not going to be the right solution for everybody, because some people just need to pick the winners, follow along, and probably join the Discord. I promise you guys, the day that I believe the run is over, you'll know about it. I'm not going to be guessing. I'm going to be going with very strong convictions. And personally, I think the charts are clear. I see what they
Mhm.
have to do to make the levels, break the levels, and then if they fall under the levels. So you're going to find out from me when we get down the road what I believe. So join the journey. If you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe right now. Tim, let's take us. I'm gonna have you wrap up the show. I
Yeah.
wanted to cover a few more, but we're running out of time. Let's discuss Ethereum because we promised it to the people.
Yeah, something to be aware of is Bitcoin season transitions normally into Ethereum season and then altcoin season. This time Ethereum has had a little bit of suppression, and now it's almost going to Ethereum and altcoin season together. I have a short-term price target right here just based off of a bull pennant pattern. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this nicely. But Ethereum popped off a little bit here. Some is like almost every crypto did on starting November 5th. You can see multiple white candles, bullish candles in a row. It consolidated in a pennant, or what we call a symmetrical triangle, for a couple of days, and then broke out. And this target alone would send us up back into a region slightly above the highs for this cycle so far, but somewhere above 4,000, 4,400 is my target. But I think you're so close. I have a zone in place. I think there's a very real chance Ethereum could make before the end of the year, can go back and match the all-time high set November of 21, around $4,800. Expect a small sell-off at that place. Don't expect us to just blast on through like nothing's happening. There will be people who will take profit at the tops, and there'll be some form of a pullback. Could that pullback be just back to these highs around 4,000? Probably somewhere in that area. But something that to keep an eye on here with ETH moving forward, it can get explosive very fast. I mean, look at the 2021 bull market. Again, ETH season kind of started in November early. Look how fast it got going, and it didn't slow down until February. Then again, after a small correction, exploded once again. I think Ethereum can have another big run. And then when we really zoom out here, keep an eye on this trend line. Again, for all of our 4-year cycle enthusiasts, keep an eye on this trend line. If we did make it to October, September area of 2025, we're talking about a $15,000, $16,000 Ethereum just staying in line with that active trend line. It's very close to some mathematics that I put on it as well, that Ethereum at the top of bull markets has a tendency to be 18, 20% dominance of an entire crypto market cap. If we are at 11 trillion, which I think is the realistic spot, that would give us just around $18,000 per Ethereum. So I'm giving a little bit of room for error right here. I think 16 to 18,000 is my realistic top for Ethereum next year. And here's what I'll say before I close it out, because some people are going to say, Tim, you're crazy. Tim, how's that possible? Ethereum's not doing anything. Everybody's out on it. That's what they said about XRP a month ago. But I'm going to listen to people like Larry Fink. Ever heard of him? He's the CEO of BlackRock, who says Ethereum is nowhere close to accomplishing everything that it's going to accomplish for this world. I think Ethereum has had a little bit of suppression here because institutions want to buy up these lower prices. Wait just a little while longer before giving up on Ethereum. Wait to see if some fireworks, just like we saw with XRP and Solana earlier. XRP recently, Solana earlier. Wait to see if institutions buy it in bulk and we get a massive run up above 5,000 and start making our way towards 16, 18,000 in the next year.
Well, I want to respond, and instead of the boo, I'm going to say I love it. I love it. And the boos were jokes. I thought your other commentary was perfect, but I do like it. Now, I'm not in Ethereum right now, but you know what? I agree with the technicals. I saw the charts. I could chart it differently than Tim, but we would end up with a similar conclusion. The charts are clear. And I agree with him that it's manipulated. I also think they have some problems they've got to sort out, but they're likely to sort them out and they will have their day. That'll be the day of the dog for Ethereum. I want to quickly talk to you guys about the LUXALGO indicator, and it's not to push a product on you. I genuinely am using this thing, and I think you'll find it fascinating. And people in my community are using it, and it's making us money. There's a link in the top pinned comment, as well as the description of the video for Lux. There's 3 tiers. I've got the middle tier. It's got the indicator I'm getting ready to show you that I really like for swing trading. So let me show it to you guys. Now we're going to look at XRP, and it's so simple. And Tim's going to be laughing at me because of how simple it is. but it's really just how they
Really is.
outline their discount zone. This is a weekly view, and it works on 5-minute candles, 10-minute candles, but they outline this simple box that shows their discount. If you see right here, this is called discount, okay? So anything in that zone would have been discount. And then they've got equilibrium, okay? It shows you where is the equilibrium in price action, and then they've got premium. It's very simple. Equilibrium is in white, premium is up here in red, and they got the green discount, okay? Now, I can't tell you what a simple visual aid that is for me when I'm confident. I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart over here, let's say on my screen, and I see something that's at equilibrium. It's one of the ways that I picked up on the cake. If you guys followed me, you made big money on Pancake because I was talking to everybody about getting in at $2.90, and it's up at 254 or something like that. It hit something like that last night. And how did I know? Well, it was at $2.90, and we're looking at the XRP chart, but I'm talking about another crypto. It was at equilibrium, and so I knew it had room to go. And if we're just looking at XRP, let's talk about it. What is it telling us? And it looks like it's relatively true. Equilibrium was right here. Premium is right where it slowed up. So when it got to the premium zone, it slowed up, and now we're starting to get this wick candle. And so this is a very, very simple visual tool that I use for just gauging whether there's some room higher on a crypto that I'm currently holding. If I'm up in premium zone, I raise my stop loss. Guys, I hope you guys can take this and make some money. If I'm up in the premium zone, I start putting a real tight stop loss. If I'm over here in the equilibrium zone, I have a much wider stop loss. I give it a little bit of room to move. Okay, I give it a little bit of room to move. But if I get up here to premium, I raise my stop loss so I can get the maximum gains. Because you know what? This will vacillate between right now, all these cryptos I'm trading, Cake and Ondo, they're vacillating between equilibrium and premium. And those change. They're not always the same. They're based on price action. Anything you want to add there before we call it a show?
No, I really want to encourage people. I mean, I've been working with LUXALGO now, using their indicators for over a year. And you still should learn the basics of technical analysis, but using a tool like LUXALGO, I was thinking about a good analogy for it. Let's pretend you were a lumberjack. You need to know how to use an axe. You need to understand how to work with the wood. But at a certain point, wouldn't it just be easier to upgrade to a chainsaw? LUXALGO is like a chainsaw to the axe. You can do a lot of heavy lifting with normal technicals and come to the same conclusions, right? But there's a lot more things you got to pull open, a lot more things you have to draw, a lot more things you have to look for and understand. And sometimes when it's out of sight, it's out of mind as well. LUXALGO puts all of the important data points you really need to look at right there on the chart for you. So again, imagine you're a lumberjack. Would you rather be cutting trees down with an axe or a chainsaw? To me, I'd rather have that chainsaw. LUXALGO has been a game changer for me in the trading world, increasing my wins. Now I have strategies. I think I've shown them on this channel before. That again are showing when I use that strategy. You have to be patient, but when I use that strategy, 90% win rates on my trades.
I love
it's hard
it.
to beat trades like that.
Thank you, Tim. Mazhar Ali just said, I bought the LUXALGO through your link. Need some classes on those indicators. Mazhar, I don't know if you're in the Discord. I don't mean to promote something else to you, but in the Discord, Tim and I did some classes. There's a channel devoted to Lux. Him and I did some lives, and he provided some incredible teaching. And if you want additional teaching on Lux besides the Discord, Tim often covers them on his show when he's providing technicals. And so you can become better at Lux just by watching him. And we're going to continue to provide some education on Lux because I think it's a good tool. I'm using it, guys. I want you to know, first of all, integrity matters a lot to me. I used Lux for, I think it was, I can't remember how many months, but I got it in November and I used it until March and tried to learn it before ever mentioning it to anybody or having them be like an affiliate. And it wasn't until I felt that it was the right tool and that I could teach people how to use it that I thought people need these types of tools when they're going to get serious about trading. I teach more of that in the Discord as well, guys. You can get there by stockswithjosh.com. Appreciate you guys all joining me. I would say that my most important video for the week, my crypto video, is going to be dropped either Wednesday or Thursday. It's going to be on my top 3 coins going into the weekend at the moment. Like I said, I'm actively trading Ondo, Phantom, and Cake, but others will pop up. XRP has had a pullback, and so now it's looking a bit more interesting. I'm watching for it to be in that equilibrium area on the LUXALGO before I dive back in. Tim, wonderful show. Thank you for being
Absolutely.
here. I love everything you contributed. And if you guys want more Tim, then head over to Investing Bros. His buddy over there is T Shroom, who also is great. Appreciate you guys today. Peace and blessings. Take care. Hit that like, smash that like on the way out. Thanks again for joining me today.